Now that Season 6 is finally on, you probably want to know more about the history of the world that Game of Thrones is based in, especially since there's going to be history in this season. The series will take you from about 13,000 years to the time you see now. We will begin in a time known as the Dawn Age. In Westeros, two species known as the Children of the Forest and the Giants made it their home. Little is known about the Giants, or mostly of anything since it was time before civilization, but it is said that the Giants lived uneasily beside the Children. The Children were pretty much the opposite of the Giants. They had no knowledge of metalworking, but the mass of them were quite skilled in the making of dragon glass or obsidian. They made small weapons and arrows with dragon glass and bows from weirwood trees, with which they used to hunt. The Children worshipped gods that were in the thousands, for example, the gods of the forest or the streams, etc. The Children were the ones who carved the faces into the trees across Westeros. They had no kings or lords, but they did have a group of wise men known as the Green Seers, who were fabled to be actually able to see through the weirwood trees. Around 1,000 years pass. We are now at 12,000 years ago. From Essos, the massive second continent, arrived the first men. Their motives for moving away from their homeland are unknown, but what is known is that they arrived in the thousands. They crossed a land bridge known as the Arm of Dorne, which is now destroyed. Some believe the arm was destroyed by a magical ritual conducted by the Children. Others say it was simply natural. When the first men arrive, they are not welcomed. The Children and the first men fight a war that lasts about 2,000 years. The obviously unequipped Children of the Forest get pushed north. Eventually, the Children and the first men grew tired of fighting and settled on a pact. The Children gave up most of the lands of Westeros on the condition that the men would stop cutting down their weirwood trees. They agreed, and the Dawn Age came to a close. Thus came the Age of Heroes. The Age of Heroes began around 10,000 years prior to the events in the show or books. The Children and the men have lived in peace ever since. The men began their climb up north, establishing houses and castles. In this age, the great houses prospered and the unfit ones did not. There was peace among the lands, except for the wars they fought among themselves, until the summer came to a close and one of the longest recorded winters came upon them, known as the Long Night, which lasted a generation. In this time, a species known as the Others, or the White Walkers, came south with the cold from the land of always winter. On top of their undead horses and spiders, they invaded the southern lands with their undead army. It is unknown how the night ended. Priests from Asshai would tell you that a warrior chosen by the Red God, R'hllor, named Azor Ahai, drew his flaming sword against them. Others would credit a man known as the Last Hero, who used the Children of the Forest to fight the Battle of the Dawn, which was the last battle of the winter. After this long winter, the men of the north banded together and built a massive structure known as the Wall, and established castles and commands of men known as the Night's Watch. We are now about 7,000 to 8,000 years ago. While there have been winters since then, the White Walkers have not been seen. They are barely legend. This makes the Night's Watch a joke to the common people of the realm. Thank you for watching. Next time we'll be talking about the rise and fall of Valyria.